If you lead any kind of medical practice, your patients may be having a terrible experience getting care from you, and it usually has nothing to do with your doctors. We tend to think about a patient's experience as what happens at the bedside. Does the doctor have a good bedside manner? Does the doctor listen to the patient? Does the doctor give a clear diagnosis and clear instructions? Do patients trust the doctor? The truth is, often what happens beyond their visit with the doctor is what actually shapes their experience. Here's what I mean. There are actually 4 stages of what shapes a patient experience. In stage 1, a patient identifies that they need care. If you lead a primary care physician or PCP office, this is when a patient decides that they want to see you for their annual physical or because they aren't feeling well. If you lead a specialist office, it's generally because their PCP has told them to come and see you. Think about the quality of that referral just for a second. It's usually a scary conversation with a PCP followed by a piece of paper asking you to call somebody. What would you do in this case? Would you call right away? Would you get a second opinion? Would you shop around on Google? Or maybe throw the paper in your car only to lose it later on like I do? Usually these referrals are hard for a patient to follow through and schedule. This can be a dissatisfier for a patient. In stage 2, a patient accesses care with you. This is when they call and schedule an appointment with you. Now, you may start to see patient experience break down even more in stage 2. Was the person who answered the phone kind, courteous, and helpful? Can a patient come in and see a provider on their time? For example, the same day or the following day? What was it like for them on the phone? Did they have to navigate a phone tree, wait forever for someone to take their call maybe? Stage 2 includes what happens when they physically arrive at the office. If a patient doesn't receive communication about accessing the office, like having to pay for parking or navigate a campus of large medical office buildings, that's a big dissatisfier. If you're running behind and the patient waits in the waiting room, that's a big dissatisfier. If the person at the front desk has a dismissive or rude attitude, that's a big dissatisfier. If a patient doesn't expect a copay and has to pay a copay, that's a big dissatisfier. If any of these describe your practice, that means that by the time a patient actually gets to stage 3, seeing the provider, aka the whole reason they came, they're already agitated and aggravated. That's going to hurt your patient experience scores, no matter what the provider does. Finally, in stage 4, the patient navigates post-care follow-ups, which can also surface a lot of service issues. Here, patients experience more waiting on the phone to get information. They have questions they didn't think of in the office and usually leave a message and then have to go back and forth to have a nurse call them back. Patients might also need to hear about results from tests that were ordered, and the communication around that tends to be confusing, presenting numerical values that most patients just don't understand. So you see, if you want to fix patient experience, you have to fix a lot more than what your doctors and nurses say at the bedside or in a care visit. We don't do our care providers any favors when stages 1, 2, and 4 don't work for patients. If you want to fix patient experience, you must design the entire patient journey, stages 1 through 4. I'd love to help you with that. Just comment below and I'll get in touch.